get into all of that. I'm sorry.
To start in the beginning. Well, some publicity, like they say in Cameroon, but it's okay to mention those because I think there's some people in Cameroon who might not know that these insurance companies exist. I want to quickly go to Facebook where Ruth says life insurance is important, especially if you have children who are young and would need help in the event of your in the event you die unexpectedly. Most Africans are not educated on this topic, but it is imperative to have one. It is imperative. I like that word. Again, like I said earlier, death is the one thing that we are all not going to avoid. It's just a matter of time. So why not insure your life? So why do you think that people start insuring their lives?
Well,
Why did they start insuring their lives? Why did that even become a thing?
correct.
Is there a history behind life insurance?
Yes. Good question. Again, I have not said that. I thank you so much for this topic, for this discussion about life insurance. Talking about the history of life insurance. It started a long time ago in the Roman, the Roman era. You see, there was a group of soldiers, Roman soldiers. They call it the burial club, so that if there's a fallen hero, they can get some resources from there and bury the person, in a responsible way. Now, this move to London, the first policy was written in London in 1583, the first ever policy that covered an individual for 1 year, 1853. So it covers the individual for 1 year. Now, this also extended to the United States. That's in 1759, and it was used by the Presbyterian Mission. So they saw that, the clergy, if they go around to do any job, anything happens, worst case scenario, death, they are going to use the proceeds from these insurance policies to take care of the children and the widow. And today we have a bunch of different types of life insurance, which certainly we are going to talk about them today. That's a kind of a brief history, how life insurance. So it's not something for today. I'm talking of 1583.
Yeah.
That's when it started. That's when the first life insurance policy was written. And today we are 2024. So you can see how long life insurance has been in existence.
You said the person was covered for 1 year. Like, what if they didn't die?
Yes. So it's normally they are going to renew. So when they take
yeah, that makes sense.
After that 1 year, you can renew because they are life insurance policies. We are going to talk about them. You can renew their term life, which certainly we are going to talk about that. You take it for a period of time.
That's a good segue though. My next question was going to be what is the difference between term life and whole life? These are the two I know. If there are more, let us know. But what's the difference, term life and whole life insurance?
All right, so there's a lot relative to all of this, but I'm just going to talk, give what you need to know. So term life, normally, as you hear the word term, is temporal. You take it, you can subscribe for a period of 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. I think the maximum I've seen is 30 years. After that period of time, you can renew it. Some are automatically renewable, depends on the company. Some you have to call to renew it. I'm going to say that the information I'm giving here is general because each state differs. Each insurance companies, they have their different rules and regulations. So I'm talking generally. For example, Texas, they don't pay state taxes. So if I say something, I'm like generalizing it.
Right.
Now, if we have individuals who want to know more, then we are going to look at their state and say, okay, this is the situation of this state, this is it. And again, what I'm doing here, this is kind of a disclaimer. I'm not kind of giving what I'll call financial advice. Sorry, let me stop this phone. Somebody is trying to call me here.
That's fine.
So it's not kind of a financial advice that I'm giving. We are not attorneys, we are not tax, experts and all of that. So when it comes to those expertise, those are the people who can better explain to us, Now, coming back to the different types of life insurance, there are many types. You have asked about two, term life and whole life. So term life, like I said, is temporary. Take it for a short period of time and you can renew it. All right. Whole life is a permanent form of life insurance. All right. And whole life grows money in it. That's the first thing I'm going to let you guys know is that there are policies, there are insurance policies that grow money in it. And, you know, you can take a whole life policy and it covers you from the time you took it till, I don't know, if it happens that you are lucky to live for 100 years, good for you. But term life is shorter. There are a lot of things inside, like I said. Okay, term life again, it doesn't grow money in it. It doesn't grow money. So you may have a term life with living benefits, or you may have a term life without living benefits. This part is very important, the idea of with living benefits, because I heard you saying, somebody said, oh, I don't want to die. And, you know, you must not die. Life insurance is not for you to die. You know, it's not for you to die. It's in fact to help you when you're alive, when you are sick, and when you die. As we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So basically, term life is a temporary insurance which you take for a short period of time. It can be for 5 years, it can be for 10 years, it can be 15 or 30 years. Once that time elapses, you can renew it. All right. If it is a 30-year, you renew it after 30 years. But guess what? The problem with that is by the time you are renewing it, they will simply tell you that, hey, you used to pay $100 because of age, because as you grow old, you become more of a risk to the insurance. Your premium goes up automatically, you know. So I have some people, some clients who say, hey, I realize that my policy premium has gone through. I say, well, the person who gave you that policy, didn't he explain that this form, that is how it goes? Oh, no, I didn't hear about that. And, you know, so if you want to take a policy, you want to have all of the information, have a good conversation with the person.
Right.
Take it.
Right.
About whole life grows money, like I said. They are also, you know, it goes up to 100 years plus. That there are some insights which, you know, is a one-on-one conversation that will be good for us to have it. Yeah. Not good to say public.
This is interesting. Now, when you say it grows money, what does that mean? Is that like if I save money somewhere, I get interest from saving that money? Is that what you mean by it grows money? For someone who doesn't understand, what does that mean when you say the whole life grows money?
So we have just talked about two forms of life insurance.
Correct, term and whole life. Yeah.
Yes, there are others. There's a universal life, there's a variable life, there's the last, which is the most powerful, according in my opinion, the index universal life, which has a lot of discussions about it. Some people say it's not good, some say it's good. Now, it depends on how the policy is set up and the objective of setting that policy for that person and a lot of other things in it. Now, talking about growing money, you know, I'm going to surprise you to tell you that a lot of companies put money in life insurance. A lot of companies. So,
like a savings kind of thing?
Yeah, so the word saving, we financial professionals, they don't let us use the word saving.
Okay.
But if you are saving money in a life insurance policy, you have to pay taxes on it. Life insurance is a tax.
I get the nuances, yeah.
Tax-free something. So we don't use the word saving. We don't use the word investment. You know, I will not use it. It's true, I'm saying it, but for the records, we don't have to use the word saving. I will not be you asking, is it a saving? I cannot say, yeah, it's a saving. No.
Okay, so when it comes to life insurance, you don't use the word saving, you don't use the word investment. Okay.
Yeah, it's true that some people use it.
For that purpose, but you don't say that it's for that purpose. That is very catchy and tricky. Okay, okay. I'm learning.
So, yeah, you see, a life insurance policy is something that has two sides. It has a side where it takes care of you in terms of rough health situations, you know, when you are sick. It has a bunch of stuff that it takes care of you. Then there's another side which it grows money for you. There's a whole history about that, how it came about, which I really don't want us to go into that because but you see, the way a life insurance policy is constructed, as a person is putting money in it every month, what we call the premium, there is a bigger amount, which we call the death benefit. Let's take a car. If you buy a car and you take a full coverage for that car, if God forbid that the person who has that car gets into an accident, a serious accident, they are going to give you some money to maybe get a different car. But now you are paying premiums every month. Now, with life insurance, whole life, like I said, whole life grows money in it. There's whole life, which is a permanent life insurance. There is a variable life. There's a index universal life. There's universal life. So all of these grow money in it, but now it depends on how the money grows. Talking about growing money, it grows on compound interest. Now, we know about compound interest, all of us.
I don't think so. Somebody doesn't know. Somebody's online will be asking what's compound interest. Please throw some more light on that.
All right. So we have, I really have to be careful here because
you have to be, yeah. Maybe just leave the words the way they're used in the.
But no worries. If you look at, we take loans to do different things, to buy a house, to buy a car, and to go to school and all of those. Now, those loans which we take, their interest grows on compound interest. If you have, is it Bruno? Bruno was here some time ago.
That was Bruno who talked about compound interest, yes.
He talked a lot about loans, and so I'm going to piggyback on him. So that if they want to catch, they should catch the him.
Yes, Bruno. I hope Bruno joins and get this. He was a good teacher, so I'm glad that
he was really he was great. He was really excellent. Yeah, So talking about this compound interest stuff, the money in a life insurance policy grows on compound interest. What does that mean? If you have a policy that has $1,000 in it, and the interest rate at that time is 10%. I'll use figures which will be easy for us to understand. Now, they are going to calculate 10% of what you have in that policy and add to it. So that means that 10% of your 1,000 is 100. So you're going to have 1,100. Now, the second year, let's assume again that the market made another 10% interest. So the market went up again 10%. They are going to calculate, you see, now we have 1,100. They're going to calculate 10% of 1,100. They are not going to calculate 10% of 1,000. That's the meaning of compound. So your interest compounds. And that's why life insurance is the most powerful tool. By the time we separate from here, you are going to be amazed on what life insurance can do. Unfortunately, because of that taboo, that African mindset, I've met people, I want to talk to them. I say, hey, most of the time we don't start by calling the word life insurance, because once you say life insurance, they are gone forever.
Oh, welcome to my African people. They're like, do you want to kill me? Why are you talking about life insurance?
Exactly. They are gone forever. They are gone. Sorry, I'm just having a series of calls coming in there. So that's it. Unfortunately, that is where the secret is, especially like United States. I'm talking of Cameroon. I had a case. I had a policy there, I was surprised myself. Else I would have come here and also be arguing. I have people who told me their parents took money from their life insurance policy and took care of them. So the money grows on compound interest. This is crazy here. Listen to this. Imagine, I said it's going to be difficult to say without, smashing some toes around it. That's fine. If you are saving your money somewhere else, I will use somewhere else that's growing at 1% interest rate. And you have a life insurance policy that's growing between 5 to 10 to 20 to 30. I have a policy that's growing for more than 100%. I'm going to say that again. I have a policy that is growing at a rate of more than 100% for a client.
Wow.
So somebody is trying to get a child to college and is saving where it's growing at 1%. I've said 1% very conservative because we know how low those percentages are.
Oh, yeah.
And you have another person who is growing that account at more than 1%, 10%, 20%. I have some slides which I'm going to show here. You want to compare, you look at it, you say like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. How is that 1% going to prepare that child for college?
No, the difference
No
is
way.
clear.
There's no way. So you need to look for a different way to get that solved. And it's the same thing we are talking about here: student loans, mortgages, those
Credit
heavy amounts.
cards. Mm.
I've met people who have 300,000, 400,000 student loan. I still have a solution for you. What are you talking about? We jump on Zoom. I make them see simple stuff. They're like, oh my God, I've never seen this. I said, no, you are going to get that knocked off within the next 15, 20 years maximum, as against throughout your lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. We have gone a little bit in, but it's good. That's how you grow money. It is the compound interest effect that makes your money grows like crazy. Yeah.
This is so interesting. I want to thank all those who are online. I see that Chukung also just joined. Thank you, Amora. There's a question for you on Zoom. It says, which is the best life insurance company to you? I think that's a question that is very what am I looking for here? Somebody's asking which is the best life insurance company for you. It's not a question to answer. Because
Oh no, it's a good question though. It's a good. I'm going to answer that.
wait, you're gonna say your company for sure. I'm thinking that way,
No.
okay, go ahead.
No,
All right. Well,
there's
thank you,
something.
Loom Joy, for that question. So I'm like,
I
it's
see.
like
I see
asking
your
me
direction.
which is the best child that I love. Like, like, okay, now I really can tell you.
So I need to say something here, which
That's
for the
good.
purpose of
Okay.
knowledge, there are insurance carriers, a lot of them out there. If you look at my background, there's Experior. That is my company. That's the company that I work for. But I am an independent person, So we have carriers. The question she asked is the insurance company. What you have behind you right there is what we call an independent marketing organization, IMO. We have Superior, we have PHP, we have WFG. All of those are IMOs, independent marketing organization. Talking about the carrier, each carrier is specific. And that's why when you are talking to a client, you want to have an idea on what the client wants. I'll give you a simple example. If I have two carriers and the client says, I want accidental death benefit rider. A rider is something which is attached, which is added to your life insurance policy. A rider. So I can add accidental death benefit.
Like an addendum added to your life insurance policy.
Yes.
Which specifies what I want as the insured.
Yes. So
okay.
Correct. So I meet, for example, a truck driver. He's always on the road. What does that tell me immediately? This is a risky. So we need to find something that can take care of this situation if it happens. So we can attach an accidental death benefit rider to his or her policy. Now, not all carriers, not all insurance companies provide that. So you do all of those heavy lifting, you go to this company, you look at their situation, look at what they have, you look for what is going to be fine for that client. Then you now come and show them those policies. You say, okay, this is this company, these are the advantages, these are the disadvantages. You talked about this one has it, this one doesn't have it. What do you think? Now the person, like I said, you want to find out the objective of that client.
Right.
What cause you to give the client a particular, you don't want to go and tell the person that this is what I'll give you because that's what you have. No. What do you need? Are you looking for death benefit? Do you wonder if you die, they give a big amount of money to your family? Or are you looking for cash accumulation? Do you want money to grow so that you can use it and stop work early and go for holidays with your kids and all of that? So those are the different objectives we used to have. So I cannot say it's this company because we are not at those companies. We are distributing a product.
That is what I was afraid of. I thought you were saying that, what, just show me a company I can go to. Okay, now you're making a lot more sense. Okay, good.
I can tell a client that, oh, this company, I don't think because of this reason, but they have this which is good and this which is good.
All right. So
think that is what you want, good for you. I cannot say this one is bad, this one is bad, this one is good. No, because
that's good. All right.
Specific.
So Loom, you got your question answered. Yeah, it depends on what you're looking for. Correct. That you get advice depending on your expectation. Then you decide to yourself. Then so you give them an informed decision making.
Correct.
process so they can decide what they exactly want. This is great. So I've learned about term life insurance, whole life insurance, universal life, variable life, and index universal life. Can we throw more light on what index universal life is? Because you said there's a debate going on around that. Why is there a debate around index universal life insurance?
Powerful stuff. So when I say powerful stuff, that product we just call Index Universal Life, that is the latest in the market. It came in the market, I think it's 1987, 88. That's when it was introduced in the market. So people, when I say people, I'm looking at financial professionals, I'm looking at agents, I'm looking at advisors.
Mm-hmm.
They've been used to whole life, which has been there for a very long time, and term life. So most of them, from those that I've conversed with, they don't want to go take the time to understand what is happening with the Index Universal Life. Unfortunately, again, some of the people who wrote policies with the Index Universal Life for clients, they did not write them well. There are a series of things which, like I said, I will not be saying them here, but you need to really be careful when you are selecting an agent. There are questions you want to ask, you want to find out. In our company, we say mission before commission.
Mm-hmm.
Mission before commission. You want to help the person, then you get paid. That's it. You don't want to, get the person to make you have a lot of money and the person who is contributing is suffering. We see that in a lot. So talking about Index Universal Life, people have really not understood it. So when you set the policy poorly, along the line, it cancels, it lapses. Just imagine that somebody takes a policy today and in 10 years, 20 years, let's say 10 years, the policy has not made any money. So that compound interest effect is not really happening.
Mm-hmm.
The person is going to get frustrated, So people are like, I prefer whole life because with whole life, they tell you that you are going to have this amount of money within this period of time. You see the figures there clearly. But with Index Universal Life, there's a little bit of it. It can go up by maybe 2% or 3% change. But, you see at the end of the day, I've talked to people who have been doing this for ever. 45 years, Index Universal Life came in 1998, as I said. I've met people who introduced it. They are using it up to now. I have policies which I've given to people. I've been in this is my 5th year.
Mm-hmm.
Besides me, there are a bunch of books. I've read those books. So when I go online and I see people saying things about it negative, I'm like, no, go and study. You have not read. I always send a message. I say, let's get on Zoom. Let me help you. Because what you are saying there's a lot of ignorance on what you are saying. We run policies that will take the person for life.
Mm-hmm.
I have children of 0 years, that is 2 months, which I'm giving them policy. That policy, the parents are going to contribute for up to 18 years, and they stop. I use the word stop contributing. Now it depends on how much they are putting in anyways.
Mm-hmm.
They stop contributing. That policy is going to pay their tuition. Is going to buy their first car. Is going to buy their first house. Is going to pay them when they are on retirement until their death. I'm not kidding here. This is life. So that's what people don't know. And that's not all. It covers you if you have a critical chronic terminal illness. If your policy doesn't cover you for those, it means that you don't have a good policy. Critical chronic terminal. Now, situations may happen that you don't get those critical chronic terminal illness from that company because maybe you have some health, real serious health situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that you have a high blood, you are taking a high blood pressure medicine and you say, oh no, I cannot get qualified. No. Talk to somebody, talk to the agent, let them tell you, let them check with the company if you can qualify. So people don't know that life insurance has living benefits, which can take care of you if you have a heart attack, a stroke, a cancer. You know what we eat around here. So sometimes you want to prepare for those troubles as time goes. Let me leave it there. As you ask the question, we're going to be, talking about it. And
so we're learning that life insurance can take care of you while you are alive.
Correct.
When you have critical, chronic, or terminal illnesses, you can always take money from there and take care of yourself. You mentioned children. You said how many weeks old can get. My next question is eligibility. How old does a person have to be to get life insurance? I know that adults do get life insurance, of course, on daily basis. But for children, how old can a child be, or should a child be, to get life insurance? Should I give birth today and say, "Hey, Emmanuel, I just gave birth. I'm in the hospital. Can I get life insurance for my child?" How old can a child be to get life insurance?
Yes, so it depends on the company though, but basically and generally it's 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, you are okay to get a policy for a child. We just got one for one of our business partners who delivered. 2 weeks old, you can get a policy for the child. And it covers, this is interesting because you see, critical illness can happen anytime.
Yep.
Critical, chronic, or worst case scenario death. The main objective for life insurance is if this person dies, this is going to help the family. But now, other advantages attached to it is that you can have it when you're alive, when you are in rough situations, and when you leave this world. So it's 2 weeks for a child. You can take a policy for a child for 2 weeks, and that policy will take that child from that 2 weeks, cover the child until the child leaves this world. Let's assume the child lives for 120 years. And at that time, the child has a lot of money. If we have time, we are going to look at one or two policies. Like sometimes I'm like, I'm just so amazed on what that does. Guess what? Like I said, I was going to smash some toes along the line. You don't need to, that policy like that is what we call a family bank that you have created for that child. You don't need to go elsewhere to take money. And I see people with student loans. I'm like, I wish you people knew this. I wish you were born in the United States to have this policy. But all of us, we came here, but there's no, I don't know, late time.
Yeah, it's
Except
never
you
too
are really,
late.
really
It's never
old.
too late. And we would really love to talk to our immigrant population, because a lot of us Africans, when we hear life insurance, we're like, wait, do you want me to die? Why is it something that I have to have somebody else benefit from? Why do I have to die for somebody to get money from me? But before I get to some of the taboos that we Africans think surround life insurance, I want to stay with that child who's 2 weeks old for a minute. When you want to get life insurance, I know that there are some tests that you have to do. For a baby who is 2 weeks old, what are the questions that are asked before the policy is granted? What do you fill out? Their name, the date of birth, and nothing else? Because my point is, what if that child looks perfect at 2 weeks old, and then you give them a life insurance policy for like $1 million, and then 3 months later, they are diagnosed with some chronic, terminal, critical illness?
I like your question. You have some really good questions here, and it's going to help us help the our listeners to understand better.
I'm glad.
That very question is really like all of the questions are just so to the point. Now, every person who is delivered in the United States, they have data in the hospital. So if you insure a baby, there are questions which the underwriter is going to have to answer. Now, what do? They go to your database, because when you fill those forms, there's forms which give them the okay to check in what we call the MIB, Medical Information Bureau. The MIB has information for everybody who has gone to the United States, to the hospital, at least one, because you have your social security attached to that. They just go there. You have given them okay with those forms that you fill when you are taking a policy. So they'll go there and check when this child was delivered. Were there any complications with the child? Did the child have this? Did they discover this? That's why they check those children really carefully in the hospital. So once they see anything which is a question mark, there already becomes an issue. It is a really good thing to get the child insured during that very early age, because I'm answering the second part, if anything happens along the line, the child is already covered. The child is covered. They cannot go back and say, oh, we did not notice this. No, you did your due diligence. So if anything happens, you talk of $1 million policy. The company is going to give that family, if it's that I'm not looking at heart attack or stroke affecting a baby, but if something which is covered, because they don't cover like everything, And I
Right.
want to say that life insurance is not health insurance, because I have a client who called me, oh, I had COVID and I went to the hospital and came back. Are they going to give me money? Well, how did the COVID happen? Were you in a ventilator for a while and all of that? No, 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 no. I say, I'm sorry, they don't call that, is not covered. I say, you want us to go back on Zoom and look at it again so that you understand better. You know, if that person was in a ventilator for a number of period, a number of days, a month or so, that becomes automatically a critical illness.
Critical, yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
A ventilator, like you cannot breathe and all of those difficult situations.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why we talk of a qualified heart attack, stroke. A simple, small stuff will not happen to you and you jump out and say, oh, they have to give me money. No. That's why we have this conversation with the client. You want to understand exactly what is going on so that we don't start arguing along the line. I know we Africans will argue out of Africa, maybe they will be talking on court and all of that. So you want to understand it really carefully. So for a child, that's it. Once you are insured, you are insured. If anything happens after that time, they are paying you money. That's what we call the living benefit. You don't need to die before you use this life insurance. But term life doesn't have that, except term life with living benefits. I
Got it.
hope you
That's
are
why you have
getting that.
the rider added to
Correct.
that.
Because
Okay.
for some reason you might not have those living benefits, because we have clients who, because of maybe some health situation or some past history, they say, yes, Emmanuel, we are going to approve your client, but we are not going to give him or her this rider.
Mm-hmm.
And when that happens, you go back and meet the client and you have that conversation with the client. This is a situation. Some will say, oh my God, thank you. I want it. Leave it. It's okay. Because they know what is happening to them. Their objective there is to grow money in the policy. But trust me, I don't like to give policies to people that doesn't have living benefits,
Right.
because
Right.
a lot can happen along the line.
That's right. I'm going to ask a question that I'm glad that Pastor Sir James is watching. He asked me a question. He mentioned something when I advertised this show, and I'll talk about it. It's kind of a taboo in the African community about getting life insurance. But before I get to his question, Loom says that can someone change their IMO?
Lumiere and agent. Anyway, yeah.
First of all, tell our listeners or our viewers what is IMO.
So IMO is Independent Marketing Organization. You have
Okay.
the talk of IMO, the talk of MGA in Canada. And so these are organizations that go and negotiate insurance contract with insurance companies. And we, the agents, help, distribute those insurance company products to the population. So you can change your IMO. You have the right. It is you who got your license. If you are working with somebody who say, oh, if you change it, this will happen, I am not interested in that. You can decide to move from one IMO to another. I don't want to be calling names of any IMOs, but you can. I was not with Experian first. I moved from somewhere to Experian. Yeah, so you can change your IMO.
That's great. So, Pastor Sir had asked me that, it's not made a statement that it's very important for us Africans to life insurance because we have some taboos surrounding life insurance policies. A couple, for example, might think that if I get life insurance and now my husband knows I have life insurance, he might kill me to get that money. Can you speak on that?
Well, I've not had a situation, but we had a colleague, a business partner, who insured a friend's wife. So this guy, this agent, got everything in. The friend got the information for the wife, date of birth, name, all of the information which is required, and got that policy for this person. That policy was, I think it was 3 million face amount, 3.5, like that, big amount. So some companies will call you to say thank you for this business and congratulate you. So when they called this lady, the lady was like, what are you talking about? The lady didn't know about it. That is a red flag, because there's anti-money laundering course which all of us take. There are things that you need to see as red flag.
Mhm.
So you can take somebody a policy for somebody without his knowledge, but it is illegal. It is illegal. Even if it is your 15-year-old son. Because from 15 years onwards, some companies will call the child to ask questions, medical questions. Just imagine you sat in your house, you decide to take a policy for your 15-year-old, and you know, the agent did not tell you that, hey, they are going to call him for questioning and all of that. It's more of medical. They want to, the underwriting levels are different. We do the pill underwriting. That's the first level. The second level is the company that calls you to confirm certain information.
Mhm.
So if you take a policy on somebody without his knowledge, it is first of all illegal, it is dangerous, it is not accepted. Now you can take it for little, your small children, you know, your 1 year, 2 years,
So
3 years.
less than 15 years, or you can take a policy on them without their knowledge. But 15 and
That's
above, they have to be aware.
correct. But the agent has to see them, because if I sit here in my state, the great state of Alabama, as we call it, and I'm talking to a family because I'm licensed in 23 states. I'm talking to a family in maybe Oklahoma, one of the states where I'm licensed. The mom or the dad come on Zoom. We are talking. He said, oh, I'm taking it for my child. I said, where is the child? Can I see that child? You have to bring that child on Zoom and put the child where I see the child completely. You know why? That child may be lying in the bed sick. And I don't know. And I take the policy. He stays quiet 2 weeks after, 1 month, 3 months. He gets up and says this. Now, thank goodness again for the Medical Information Bureau. If that person has gone to the hospital, they will see all of those things. You know, if they are not gone to the hospital, it becomes an issue. Because that person can take that policy, they approve it, then they now go to the hospital. But there are really mechanisms which is difficult to slide out. Because if something happens, they have to pay you. We're in the United States. They don't play with those things. They have to pay you. They are going to look at the different, you know, do a kind of critical control to be sure that, yes, this person really had a heart attack. Yes, this person has really died before they pay out. So taking a policy for somebody is possible, but dangerous. You don't want to do that without a person's knowledge, especially an adult.
I had no idea you could do that for somebody. And I want to add that people should not be afraid to take life insurance policies. And the taboo that life insurance means I'm about to die. You're going to die. It's just a matter of when. You don't know.
Let me say that what you are saying there is like I didn't say all of that. To the person who asked that questions, I don't know when I'm going to start sharing my screen, but life insurance has a lot of advantages. First of all, there's that part of protection. Let me tell you guys something. In the United States, if anybody closes his eyes, God says, my son, my daughter, it's your time. Come on. All of your accounts are frozen.
That's your
Savings
estate.
accounts, checking accounts, and all of those are frozen. You know what? They don't freeze a life insurance account. You know why? Because it has a beneficiary. So your policy covers that. Well, I'm going to say this, and if you have a savings account, a checking account, which doesn't have a beneficiary, today is Saturday, you want to run to that bank on Monday and put a beneficiary. So your life insurance takes care of you from your money going to that probate system. The probate system is a crazy system. It takes months and years. Do you know of Aretha Franklin?
Yeah.
Do you know of Michael Jackson? Do you know of Bosmark, Elvis Presley? All of these people, they were not ready. When they close their eyes, nobody is ready to die.
You would think that they would have, people that work for them who advise them on these things to have everything in place, because yes, your estate is in jeopardy, even if you are as healthy as a horse.
It's unfortunate that life insurance agents have a different license as compared to financial professionals.
Okay.
CPAs. Life insurance agents go like I don't want to say we know too much. We give this discussion, we educate people for free. But financial advisors, you have to pay some amount of money. So we make sure that we give them like all the information. Imagine there's one of these top stars, Paul Walker, that's his name. If you remember this film, Fast and Furious,
Yes.
Paul Walker died with his
Died,
financial advisor in the car.
Mm-hmm.
He went to probate because this information, he didn't have it. That's it. I was, we go do prospection. Sometimes I just get up and say, okay, let me go talk to one or two people around. I go to Walmart. I met a nurse with her scrub, and I say, hey, ma'am, can you give me 1 minute of your time? Say, yeah, sure, what's going on? I say, hey, I've learned about the probate court system. You used to make calls when somebody dies, right? She said, yeah, I make calls. I said, do you know why you make those calls? She said, well, I inform my hierarchy that. I said, yes. Do you know anything attached to the back of that? She says, no. I gave her a little bit of education. She said, what? At that time when that call is made, all of your accounts are frozen, as I said. I met another lady, same nurse, white lady, same question. She looked at me. She said, please, I don't want to talk about that.
That's the thing. You have to talk about it because
this is why she didn't want to talk about it. I said, please, can you, I'm really sorry to bother you. Can you, she said, my mother died. I lost a lot of money in the probate court. I pulled the case until I could not continue. I had to abandon everything. You see, so it is a small mistake that she made. Small mistake. Because when people don't have the information, they find themselves doing the wrong things. And unfortunately, when you talk to people, once you call the word life insurance, I'm like, I have people who don't talk to me because of that. I'm like, oh my goodness, why can't this person come and sit down for 1 second and listen? I will not blame some of them because I sometimes try to go back and I want to know why you don't just want to hear about it. Guess what? Emmanuel, I've been scammed a lot. I don't want to hear anything about it again. That's it, because they were scammed. That makes sense to me. I say, well, I think what you are saying, it makes a lot of sense because you know what is happening over there. You fight it everywhere because this person is this position and, but I explained to him again. I showed him examples. I showed him my children's policy. He was like, this is making sense to me. I said, that's why sometimes you don't just want to create a barrier. I don't want to hear. Again, on the other side, they say, no listen for Fayman. Fayman, if you listen to it, he will take you. So it's an issue, if you look at it all around, at the end of the day, I say, listen and make a decision. So that's it. That taboo issue is serious, and there are other factors hanging around it, which cause people to say, you know what, I don't want to hear about that. Yeah.
The taboo issue is odd because I live in Cameroon where I worked as a journalist, and you come to my apartment, I had enlargements of my pictures on the wall. And I cannot tell you how many people told me that, wait, why are you getting enlargement? You want to die? Like, it's a picture of myself on the wall. I tell you, the taboos are weird. People are like, no, you can't have an enlargement of yourself because they're going to use it for, we are looking for. I'm like, it's odd. So it's kind of the same thing about life insurance. People are like, no, it means I'm about to die. But again, I think I've learned from you already that the sooner you get it, the better for you. Because if you get to that point where you're sick, especially critically, chronically, or terminally, then it makes it more expensive and even difficult. Is that a situation where somebody is denied a life insurance policy because they are either too critically sick, they have a chronic illness, or they have a terminal illness? Are you denied life insurance on those bases, or are you just making it expensive for the person?
I say you have very good questions.
I'm glad.
You have very good questions. That is the most important part. People don't want to hear about it because they think that when you go there, you can take it anyhow. No, there is a serious, strict procedure to get you approved. We are talking of somebody who has taken a policy for $1 million face amount, and he's paying like, I don't know, $10,000 every year or every month. I'm using big figures. It doesn't mean that that's how it must go. I'm talking to the audience. I have people who have policy for $50 a month, $100, $200, $500. Now, That person who has that big policy or that small policy with face amount of 100,000, guess what? You pay for 1 month, the first $100, if I thought that's what you are paying, the second $200, and you are diagnosed of a cancer, all of those diseases which are qualified. Guess what? That $100,000 you are seeing there, that face amount, they have to give you 90%, depending on the company. So look at somebody who took a policy for $1 million face amount, and he's diagnosed the second year, he has just paid maybe $2,000. They are giving you 90% of that amount. So the insurance company will not just get you in the morning and you say you want policy, they just give you, no. They do a careful and vigorous check to be sure that you have good health. You are not a high-risk individual, so you don't get it anyhow, except maybe a term life, which is really cheap. They do very little check. If somebody says, oh, no check, no blood work and all of that for a policy, I really doubt it.
We
Because they
see
have
those
many
online. When you go online, you see something say a no check insurance policy. Is that a thing? Is that real?
maybe no that they come to do block and take your urine and all of that, but there's no way they are going to not check because they have information in the Medical Information Bureau. If they go there and see some serious situations, it will be difficult for them to give you, or they can increase their premium because of that health situation. So yes, they can refuse. I have people that they have declined them. I've talked to them, followed them, begged them. I said, this is going to help you, my brother. We put it, they decline it. I said, my brother did not accept you. You say, what? I said, but I told you that it is, you can get it or you cannot get it.
The insurance company declines the application.
Yes. Because they
so there are cases where people can be denied life insurance policy.
That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I was even thinking, maybe somebody who is listening or watching is thinking the same like me, that you can never be denied, but you can be given a policy that is too expensive based on your situation.
I have people who have been declined and denied.
Okay.
Because of their health situation or because of different reasons. It can be you are a rough driver. They see that you always have a series of tickets all the time. Forget it. They will not give you because you are a risky client. No insurance company wants to take that kind of a risk. That's it. So like I said, they can deny you an insurance policy, a life insurance policy. And now it will depend on the life insurance policy that you are taking. They can deny you.
This is this is informative, I tell you. Thank you to all those who are watching online. Pastor Sir James says, sir, as an agent, what are some of your personal difficult experience you encounter with African homes to get them to listen to you? I like this question. You go to, like Bruno said last week, people see him and they say, I heard Bruno again about finances. So do you have, what do you face when it comes to African homes? Like Emmanuel is coming again, and you'll start about life insurance very soon. What barriers have you faced when it comes to African homes and life insurance policy talk?
Excellent question again.
Excellent question,
Excellent question.
Thank you, Pastor Sir.
So, I have of agents, financial professionals, as I always want to call them, have ways that they use to get to talk to people. Do not use the word life insurance to them. Don't start by using the word life insurance. Now, that difficulty of getting people to come and listen to you is the main issue, which we have. You know, some people have resorted, you know, to pass through maybe the pastor of a church, because if you meet the pastor who is like a leader, and the pastor will say, hey, Emmanuel told me something which is really important. I want you guys to sit down and listen to him. Okay, talking about families, you know, like this case I told you about, I talked to him 1 year after, you know, from time to time, I'll send texts, hi, how are you doing, how is family? Just keep that relationship going. I got up one day again, I called him, I said, listen, and something happened. There are crazy things that happens around. We had I will say this before coming back to that story. So we had this family who took a policy, and as time goes on, they started playing with the payments. Remember, it's a contract, you have to pay a premium for me to cover you. Family, unfortunately, they missed a series of payments, and the policy was going to lapse. we always send text, call, go to the person, say, hey, this thing is going to cancel. You are going to lose money. Be careful. And, the person, you cannot force people to do, I don't want to say what the song banners.
Leave some banana aside his gram to the
So,
Saki Sashi.
so I just wanted to release the tension.
That's good. Yeah. I mean, for Cameroonians who know about soccer or football, some banana is.
So, so this family, unfortunately, that policy lapsed. Guess what? 2 weeks after, that child was shot.
As in gunshot.
I'm talking of dead. 2 weeks after, that family had a policy of 100,000 face amount. This is something that happened like 8 months ago. Until today, that woman, the mother is not balanced. She's not herself. So I go back to this, my friend. I say, hey, listen, do you know what just happened today? A stray bullet got a child, and that child is dead. I'm talking to you about something that will help you to cover things like that, to prepare this child for college. What are you talking about? What are you thinking? I said, give me a date. Let me come and see you and let's talk about this thing. I was now kind of aggressive and angry even. He said, this man, the way you're talking about this thing is like, I said, no, I'm not kidding. I'm open. I have availability for this day and this day. When are you available? These 2 days, choose one. Thank goodness, one of those days he was available. I went there to his house. I opened my laptop. I said, I was really sorry to be that aggressive, but this is what happened. I said, this is my child's policy. You have 2 children. You are doing this business. You are traveling all the way. You want to suffer this woman? If something happens to you today, this flight that you are taking what are you going to leave behind? Do you want to turn and look at your family, the mess that you have left, or you want to stand and smile and say, oh my God, I did great? They're giving them $1 million or $500,000 that will take care of those children throughout life. Listen, when people die over here, those who know about it, I've talked to people. I went to give a talk. A man of 73 years old, a white guy, he told me that after the talk, he called, he said, my son, I'm really sorry. I said, why? What happened? He said, when I walk up that stage, he knew that there was nothing good going to come up from my mouth. I said, but you saw my photo in the flyer. He said, yeah, he saw it. The photo was made too wide, so he thought that I was just laughing. He said, what I've showed him today, he has never heard it. He was born in this country. He has never heard about it. That you can grow money in a life insurance policy. Guess what? That's where banks put their money for their information. I'm going to, if I have a chance to share my screen, there are companies, lots of companies loading money in the, when are these companies going to die? We have a lot of land in Cameroon. Let's go and bury them in Africa. Nigeria has big land. Let's go bury these companies in those lands. So, guys, if you are here and you had that mentality of insurance, you want to start thinking about it today. Like
that's right. That's right. We'll talk about the benefits and then we'll talk about, then you can share your slide. But I don't think you really did answer the question about what challenges have you faced when you go to African homes, talk about life insurance policy. You get aggressive, I agree, right? But do you get that look when you walk in? Like Bruno was saying on the show last week, like people just look at you like, okay, Bruno is here again. What is he going to say about life insurance or finances to me? That was a good example about somebody died. So then you go now and say, something happened last week, somebody was shot. So please get yours. But how have the reception been like?
For those who have heard about it, got some information, it is smooth. And again, there's something which is critical also, the individual who is going to that particular group of people.
So it's your approach.
So like if they have some information about you about like relative to trust, because people know that there's a lot of scamming. Like I said earlier, I will not blame them to an extent because they are kind of worried that this person is coming to scam us.
Yeah.
When they get the information, the real information about life insurance, they start being receptive. So you need to break that barrier for them to understand that what this person is coming to tell them makes sense. So sometimes
they've experienced a loss.
yes. So
and
what
know that if we had this insurance, we would have had this coverage.
Correct. So what are some other strategies that I use? If I see that there's somebody whom I've given a policy is in that entourage, I pass through that person and say, listen, we need to help these people. can you talk to this your friend about this particular product, how it has helped you? That's one way to get to those people, because that's a strategy I use to talk to more people. The people already have policies. I say, look, this policy has made 1 year. You already have $1,000 standing in it. By the time it gets to this time, you are going to have this amount. Why don't you think that is the information you want to share with others? That's it. It's unfortunate that we have, like, really unfortunate that we have agents who either they don't understand what is going on, or I really don't want to be talking negative about agents. It's unfortunate, like I said, that they've set policies which are, I don't know, when I look at some of them, I'm like, oh, well, this one was not well set because of this reason. So that also is another point, because I meet some people, they say, oh, I had this thing last time, I canceled it. Why did you cancel it? Because he was not meeting my expectation. Can we sit down and look at it again for a while? No, I don't want to talk about it. Can we sit down and talk to another person? Say, yeah, let's look at it. And when I go show them, in fact, I had a meeting this morning before this meeting. The couple were amazed. They were like, what? Why? How did this happen? And all of that, So breaking that barrier to talk to them has a lot of things, that can happen. It's not one thing, it's not two, it's not three. That's it. So if that person is an agent, you want to find ways to figure out one of your clients who knows somebody in that family or something of that nature, okay? Or you kind of go send them some short videos which are talking about life insurance. Say, please, can you go ahead and watch this? Sometimes they may watch it and say, oh, I didn't notice this. That time you say, please watch and let me know. They can watch and let you know, and you now come in and explain further. So there are different ways of getting that problem solved.
To get to our African community about life insurance is to start from the end. What do I mean by that? Somebody dies and we face the difficulty of burying the person, and we see how miserable the family turns out after that. We use that and say, see, if they had a life insurance policy for $100,000, for example, they would have done so, and so, maybe even pay off the mortgage, for example. So I think it's to start from the end. I'm not an agent, but that is what I think it should be. So maybe the agents who are from Africa, to talk to the African people, like Pastor was saying, the difficulties you face, just to approach them, is to collect the unfortunate incidents that might have happened in the African community where there was no life insurance policy. Correct. I've had a situation in Minnesota where two Cameroonians died at the same time. They were going to school out of state, driving back home together. These two girls had an accident. They died together. No life insurance policy. The community came together, and these girls were ladies who were here by themselves, no immediate families, right? One of them had a husband and children here. There was no life insurance policy for either of them. The community came together, raised money, and sent the bodies back home. If we use situations like this, if we can do a compilation of unfortunate situations that have happened in our communities and start from there, and then you say, if there was a life insurance policy, what do you think would have been? So maybe that's a tip that agents can use.
Stuff. Let me tell you again that the slides that I have, there's a section there of, I call that section, which do you prefer?
Exactly.
I have a savings account and I have a life insurance policy. Which do you prefer? You see, all of us have savings account. You know what they are going to give us there. 0.0. You see, you have 5,000 and they are giving you $1 something.
When I first started looking at my interest, I'm like, how much are you paying me for interest of how much have in your account in the bank for how long? It is annoyingly small.
Correct.
Annoyingly small.
Slide there is somebody who had, I'm not even going to death yet. I'm looking at a heart attack.
We'll look at your slides.
Yeah. The person has a heart attack. They gave him a big check. And another one who had a heart attack, who had no insurance.
No insurance, yeah.
What happens? You go and start begging in the street. Then worst case scenario, death. Somebody who died, what we contribute? You look at those lists, 1,200, 2,300. To take a cup from here to Cameroon is at least $15,000. Yes. And the community has contributed $2,000 and given to the family. Which do you prefer? A life insurance policy that will give you $100,000 check? Or, so thank you for bringing up that. That's another thing which we do. When something happened, like the case of the person was shot, I said, look, this person is dead. This can happen to anybody. Do you want to wait for this to happen? Then we
It's
start running up
inevitable.
and down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Question for you on Facebook. Well, first of all, let me acknowledge what Ruth says. She remembers those two girls who died. That was so sad. One of them had braided my daughter's hair right when she came to America. See, she remembers there was a true story of those two girls who died from the Cameroon community. And now Pastor Sa, he says, can life insurance be established in Africa? I know that will be difficult, but it is a realistic possibility. For a purpose of clarity, he did talk about that earlier, and I also want to mention that Pastor Sa is from Sierra Leone. But you mentioned life insurance policy being established in Cameroon. So can you throw more light on that
well, in
about
that
African
case,
life insurance policy?
comme on dit sans publicité, I'm going to call names of insurance companies. There used to be Beneficial Life, which they have the same kind of setting. You put money there. I met a lady who, when I explained this, she said, yeah, I know. That's why I didn't want to take
Beneficial Life in Cameroon, right?
Sorry? Yes, yes.
That's in Cameroon, yeah.
Yes.
It's okay to mention them.
Yes, so there's Beneficial Life that offers the same service, and you know, you can get it on your own. You can go there and get it privately. So it works the same. It grows money for you. You can take it to do anything. This lady told me that that's where the mom took money to pay their tuition until they went through school and all of that. I think there's also UACAM V, which a small story. I was working with MTN, and when I got hired, they sent me that form for UACAM V. I said, no, nothing insurance. I'm not interested. I didn't feel it. Human Resource wrote to me the second year, and they asked me that, do you know what you are doing? Do you know how much you are losing? Guess what? I started contributing. The amount of money I took from there, by the time we're coming here, I was shocked myself. So that gave me an idea about life insurance.
That's a
So
good
you
testimony.
can have it. You have life insurance in Africa.
That's good. Well, like I said, he's from Sierra Leone, so I'd like to hear more about your own country. If you do have some, maybe find out from some people. And he says, sir, I agree with you. Pastors and community leaders need to preach and encourage people to pursue and establish life insurance. We count so much on our community leaders and our pastors. You know, they are the ones who would speak to you and you listen. You know, when it even comes to sometimes marital problems, you go to your pastor and then he talks to your spouse and then you listen. So they have a role to play when it comes to helping us get life insurance. I want to encourage us who are on Zoom to also ask questions. And thank you so much for joining. Can somebody have more than one life insurance policy?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I have more than one. My kids have more than one.
That's
and
good.
You can have it in different insurance companies. You can have it in the same company, have it in different insurance company. It just depends on your financial strength, because you need to do that contribution every month or every year or semi-annually, because you have 4 ways of contributing: monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, and annually. Those are the 4 ways that you can contribute to your policy.
Okay. Let's talk about the benefits
of
the beneficiary. What happens if a beneficiary dies before the insured?
You get another beneficiary. Yeah, you just get another beneficiary. It becomes a problem if we had a situation where, remember, let's come back to this basic definition. We said that there are 4 people involved. There's the beneficiary, that's the person who takes the proceeds if the person who owns the policy dies. So there's a beneficiary, there's the owner, that's the person whom the policy is taking on him. Then you have the payer, that's the person who pays the policy all the time. Then you have the insurer, that's the insurance company. So if the beneficiary dies, you just find another beneficiary and you put there. Now, this beneficiary should not be a minor. If it is a minor, they will have to wait a little bit until the child becomes 18, some states 21. So like I said, what I'm giving is just general. Now they are going to identify somebody who we call the guarantor, who will be taking care of that, you know, managing that money for that child, because the child may need to go to school and, you know, they will have to use money from there, but they cannot give the ownership of the policy to the child at that age. That's it.
Wait, I don't think I got it clearly. So if you have a life insurance policy and your child is your beneficiary and then you die, so your child cannot be paid that lump sum because they are still a minor until they get to be.
Yeah, they cannot give the money to the child directly. Somebody has to manage the money until the child gets to some states 18, some 21.
That
But
is
they can
interesting.
use the money to take care of the child. Somebody will be keeping the money and, okay, this child wants to go to school. The father died or the mother died and left money. We'll take money from there and pay for things that the child needs. All right. It's that person who is managing the money, not the child. If the child becomes 18, if the state is 18 years, the age to get, they transfer that to the child because the child is a beneficiary.
Question. What if somebody has a life insurance policy and they have somebody else as their beneficiary without that person knowing that they are a beneficiary? And let me give a scenario here. Somebody is an adult, no child, right? Live by themselves, have life insurance policy, and have maybe a niece as a beneficiary. The niece doesn't know about it, then they die. Who has the responsibility of informing the niece about it? And can such money be lost in air quotations because nobody knows about it?
It's rare. It's rare for the money to be lost because when somebody dies, the first person who knows is the agent, you know. So there's that agent-client company relationship. The agent knows that when I was creating this account, there was a beneficiary by name this, social security this, and you know, all of those information. So once that happens, the insurance company is going to make me know. The check which the insurance company writes is given to me. They don't send it to the client, no.
Got it.
Send it to me because that environment of me, I want to use this to ask a question. Which do you do? Well, not you. Which do we prefer? You have a check, you go for a funeral, there's the corpse lying there and whatever, you have a check of 1 million in your pocket. And that community that has done GoFundMe has their own check of 2,000. They go for that event. Who is going to be like, oh my God, we are so grateful, thank you so much? Because you go there, you say, okay, I was the agent, I'm really sorry for what has happened to you guys. Thank God, thank goodness, they have a policy and the company has just paid out, the policy has just paid out because the person is dead. This is a check of 1 million. It's you, the agent, who goes and delivers that check to the family. So you will know that this lady who has this name, who is the niece, was the beneficiary. Yes, you can take a policy and put somebody a beneficiary without telling the person.
Okay.
There are many people do that. They just put the name there quietly.
And can this person be out of the United States? It's from Facebook. Somebody, Pastor Star says, can the beneficiary be out of the United States?
Okay, that is important and a little bit critical. It depends on the company because some companies ask the question there in the forms that you fill. Is any of the beneficiary, I'll take advantage and also say this, the beneficiary can be 1, it can be 3, it can be 5. So they ask the question there in the questionnaire, you put the name, a space opens. Is this person in the United States or out of the United States? You tick the one which is correct. Do not lie, because if the person is out of the United States and you say the person is in the United States, if something happens, those are some of the reasons why insurance company might end up not paying, because you lied in that application. They might, I don't know. So you want to speak the truth all the time. So the person, there are some companies, they don't worry where the person is. There are some which, so it is case by case. I cannot say yes or no to that question. Yeah.
Okay, and another question from him, who is a contingent?
Yeah, that's another name for that's the second beneficiary.
So there's the first and the second is a contingent.
Yes. So there's always a primary beneficiary. That's important also. Let me say this real quick. You always want to fill that form if you're an agent here. Don't go and hurry to sign the policy and go away. You want to fill the primary and the secondary or contingent. Why? There was a situation where the owner of the policy had an accident and died with the first beneficiary, the primary beneficiary. Automatically, the resources goes to the contingent beneficiary. So if there was no contingent beneficiary, it starts becoming a little bit complicated.
Yeah, because nobody is a beneficiary. That's what I was asking, like, in this case now, does the money get lost?
I don't think it's going to get lost. They will try to find out family people and find a way of. The insurance company don't really want to keep people's money. Yes, because they can go and find a policy somewhere along the line in their house, and they'll bring a case to the insurance company. Oh, our sister or our brother had a policy with you. What has happened? What has become of it? Then now they can, maybe there are some processes which they can follow to give the money to the family, although they were not selected as beneficiary. Those are things that one needs to call and find out from the insurance company.
Right.
Thank you for bringing it up, though.
Beneficiaries is a lot, it's very dicey. I'll talk about that a little bit more, and then we'll have your slides, and then we shall talk about disadvantages of owning life insurance policy, which I don't know if there are any, but we'll look into that. But let me see what Ruth says. She says on Facebook that we just buried a friend's 91-year-old mom last week, and she had finished paying for her life insurance 30 years ago through her job before she retired. The company filed for bankruptcy, and that voided the life insurance policy. We were all shocked. Please explain that. Is this a possibility? Can a life insurance policy be voided?
Listen. You see, I'm going to. It's unfortunate that.
Oh my.
Good news. Good news. You are here to listen and ask those questions. Everybody, thank you for coming. There's a lot with this life insurance thing. That's why they say if you want to take a life insurance policy, you should have an idea on the kind that you are taking. Now, companies, the insurance, I heard you say the policy was a 30-year policy. Term life, that's the
She didn't say it was a 30. She said she had finished paying it for her life insurance 30 years ago.
Okay, so this will depend on the kind of policy that she has. If she said finish paying, I don't know how they finished paying a policy 30 years ago. Now, you have whole life. Whole life goes up to 100 years, right? It really depends on the kind of policy. But let's use assumptions here. If this was a term life policy, most of the time, after 30 years, the premium goes up. People will say, you know what, I don't want it again. Some companies will not insure you after 65 years. I'm looking at term life mostly. I'm not looking at permanent life. Permanent life, it goes even up to 70. The term life, they are really not interested in insuring you if you are 65. So what I'm simply saying is that after 30 years, that woman has, if it is a term life, maybe she had no policy any longer. And again, policy that is taken through your company, 99% of the time is term life. Companies don't give permanent life insurance policy, except you're a top executive and they are giving you what we call an executive bonus plan, which is has life in it. So we need to have the context of that situation, of that case, then we can better explain. We can have a conversation with her on this. Anybody who wants my number can take it from her, or you write to me directly on Facebook. But
yeah, I'll add it to the broadcast so people can have your contact.
I think I don't know that it makes sense to give it public. It's good to ask you.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Got it.
Because most of the time, just
I think Ruth, you should have those people ask. I mean, I think Emmanuel can explain better. I'll give Ruth your number so she can talk. This is very concerning. Voided. Life insurance policy.
I don't think that was a term life, because if it was companies don't give permanent life coverage. Once you leave a company, you don't have insurance again with that company. You are gone. I have this lady I spoke to. Oh yeah, Emmanuel, I'm good. I got one of my. I said, it's like all what I've said you have not understood. We are not talking about company insurance policy. We are talking about something that you have on your own, which grows money for you. If you have had a tax rate, it covers you. Yeah, what you've said, I understood is nice. Guess what? This woman got on retirement. Technically, if she did not renew, because you have the possibility of continuing that policy on your own. If you don't do that, you don't have a policy anymore. This lady is the daughter who called me from the hospital. Uncle, my mother is here in the hospital. She's sick. I said, what's going on? Who are you? And I tried to figure out the person. She explained, I remember the person. He said, yes, you said that if my mom had a heart attack, you are going to give her a big check. When you were in the house talking to her, I was there. Oh my gosh. I said, I'm sorry, my dear, your mother did not take a policy. That was it. I cannot do anything else except to go and say, oh, I'm really sorry, pay a visit. and do what you can do in terms of small support. But that big check from the insurance company, you cannot have it because you didn't have a policy. Yep.
How long after a person dies does the company pay out the life insurance?
Yes, this will be case by case, because when somebody dies, they have to do due diligence to be sure that there's a death certificate. Because somebody can get up and say, this person is dead, and you know, when the person, they do due diligence, we are looking at between a month to 3 months.
Okay.
Especially there are complications. If there are complications, it can go up to that. But cases where they see that everything is clear, is less than that.
What about a case of suicide? If somebody has a life insurance policy and they commit suicide, do they still get a beneficiary paid out?
Within 2 years, they don't pay you. There are people who have done that. Their
Say that
family,
again? Within 2 years, they
yes,
do not pay you?
yes, they have seen that their family is suffering. They go and take a life insurance policy and kill themselves, so that the family should take the money. Within 2 years, they don't give you anything.
Oh, so if you get a life insurance policy and you commit suicide within 2 years of owning that policy, you would get nothing.
You get nothing. It's there in the policy. They tell you, the agent will tell you, they explain all of these things carefully to you. It's contractual. Within 2 years, you are not giving anything, because you decided to go and take away your life.
Okay. Wow. Talk about life insurance policy can go on forever, but like I said, death is imminent. We cannot avoid it. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen. So if you can insure your car, insure your life. Cars, because we are scared of the police pulling us over. So you have a car insurance.
Right.
But if you think that, death can also pull you over, I think it's important to get a life insurance policy. I'll let you share your screen, and then when we come back, we shall conclude with some disadvantages of owning a life insurance policy.
Okay, I'm just going to show 1 or 2 things.
Okay, I'm going to let you share. Yeah, we have multiple. Go ahead.
Yes, man. I really have a bunch of slides, but I'm going to show just 1 or 2.
Okay.
The things which we have already talked about. So I'm right here in the great state of Alabama, as I've said. So that's me right there. We have talked about the different forms of life insurance. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So those are the different forms of life insurance which we have talked about, some of them. But I want you to look at this table. This table is a very important table for us, because it shows you the different portfolios that people have. I just want you to look at the one which has an A grade.
Okay.
That's life insurance, the A grade. What do
Mhm.
you notice there? All the other ones have issues, but the life insurance
It's
takes
green
care
all
of,
the way.
can you see the top right up?
Yes, never lose money, no manager, inflation, and no taxes. Yeah.
Yes, I just want you guys to see that with life insurance is the grade A, is the top. So that is the foundation. If you want to do anything in this country, that's the first. Then you can now put Bitcoin on it, you can put stocks, you can put all those other ones. That's the key. So this is a very short video which somebody played. This is a pastor talking to people in the church. Listen to this. Oh no, sorry. I wanted to press play here.
$4 million a year on hair. $54 million a year on hair. We spend $152 million a year on perfumes. We spend $700 million a year. This is just black people. $700 million a year on liquid soap. We are clean while living dirty. You smell good, your hair looks good, your nails are good, you got brand new church clothes, and you got all of that with no insurance.
Did you hear that?
Yes, but no insurance. Yeah, I got that. That's the message. We spend millions of dollars on everything else, but no life insurance.
So this is what insurance can do for you, this list, life insurance. There's none here that anybody will see it and they don't want it. All of them. Can you imagine that these are the things that life insurance can do for you? All of this long list you see here. It's a big deal.
It
I'm
is.
just going a little bit fast. Look at that. Look at companies that have life insurance. What are they doing with life insurance? This book is, if you have Amazon Prime, is free. PDF, if you have Amazon Prime, it's free. It's a quick read. Buy it and read it to get an idea on what's going on. Educate yourself. Yep. How the wealthy use life insurance as a tax-free personal bank to supercharge their savings. Yep. So you can get this. It's a quick read. If you are a fast reader, in an hour you are done. You'll be blown away. Well, this is a 5-minute video which I will not worry you about. Now, this is what I was saying some minutes ago. Which do you prefer? Do you prefer, this is somebody who has a 4,000, is a client who took this and sent to me, that's what you get. But on this other side, let me use my pencil so that we can see better. You see right there?
Yep.
This is somebody who has put in $1,200. You see what the person can take out, that's close to $400. Which do you prefer? So that's the meaning of preparing for tomorrow. Yes. Well, for those who are here and have never heard about this, thank goodness for you. You can go share the message to other people. That's a check that was given to somebody who had a heart attack. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Person had, you see a critical illness rider. You see 60,000.
Mm-hmm.
This other way, they are begging money from the street.
Mm-hmm.
Which do you prefer? These are the people I was talking about. All of these are public information. This one
Yeah,
too.
it is. Yeah.
These are superstars who did not know about this. They lost their, like, a lot. I just put some few. So this, well, you said we are going to look at the advantages of insurance, life insurance later. So I'm going to stop sharing for now. And guess what? The IRS can stop this program. That's what that last slide is talking about. You see how much they are losing in it because it is tax-free?
The IRS can stop the life insurance program if they want to.
This particular
Oh, okay.
Index Universal Life.
Got it. Index Universal Life. Okay.
Yeah, because the program costs the government 80 billion per year. So what I'm simply trying to say is that if somebody has come and talked to you about it, do not say, oh, I'm not interested, because you might end up not being able to have it.
That's right.
Yeah, we'll
Wow,
go back
thank
to
you.
advantages later.
It's an eye opener. It's really an eye opener. And Pastor Star says on Facebook that life insurance is a peace of mind. It is. I think I have said so many times on the show that death is imminent. We cannot avoid it. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. So if you can insure your car, I'm sorry, I have a look. You can insure your car and you can insure your house, insure your life as well. And Bruno said something really important last time. He said, when he asked people what is more important, your life or your car, they go, oh, my life. But you have insurance for your car, not for your life. You're acting as if your car is more important. Go, no, but you're acting that way. So how are you acting when it comes to life insurance? So just like everything else in life, there is a disadvantage or two about life insurance. I don't know if you know of any, but I'm thinking it could be more expensive for some people cannot afford it. That is a disadvantage of having life insurance policy, because if you can't afford it and then it elapses, you lose. So what would you tell?
Like I said,
what would you tell a potential customer that is a disadvantage of owning a life insurance policy?
Okay, that's even one of the objections which we have, a quiet objection. They don't tell you. You do all of the presentation. Yeah, I like it. This is good. I'm going to call you. When I go back to find out, like months after, they are like, to tell you the truth, I didn't have that money. Now, let me say something which is really simple. I met this lady. I always use examples in the field. I met this lady as we're having a conversation, you know, like I said, we have that first conversation. What do you do? And all of that. She is a nurse who doesn't sleep in her house.
Yeah.
She's always. That's okay. How much do you spend on cable? She said her cable is about $150 a month. Okay. Like, so it means if you are not home all the time, it means you spend on food. You know, she said, yeah, I buy a lot of food. She didn't know where I was going to. At the end of the day, I told her that all of those expenses, those things you are spending on, and you are not making any use of it. Don't you see that that's money that you can use to put in your policy? That's the first. The second is, I'm okay if you do a birthday for your child, make your child happy. But go to our garages. You are going to see toys all over the place. That is enough money to put in a policy, $100 every month for your child. So if somebody says expensive, I ask you, expensive more than what? As compared to what? When we do the financial analysis with this person, we see where money is. If you tell me that you save a $500 every month, I mean, like that is what you have kept. You don't have anything to do with it. So you have paid your mortgage. If you are in Njangi, you don't think you have sent money to your family, whatever you have to pay, you have paid everything. And you have even your miscellaneous amount there. Then there is a $500 or $1,000 just hanging somewhere. I'll tell you that $1,000, if we could take 500 from that 1,000 and make your life better by the time you go on retirement, is that something you want to do? Or we make your life better, you go for more holidays and reduce work, is that? So there's always money somewhere. It's a mindset of the people who tell you that, no, I don't have money. No, everybody has money. Some people have money lying somewhere, they are not doing anything with it. Put it here for it to grow on compound interest for you. Yeah, so the idea of, or the case of expensive, no, they are not, they don't have the information. That's why they draw that conclusion. So when I bring up all of this point, I bring out the areas where you can have money and all of that, they'll be like, oh yeah, I think I can take something. Let's start with something small. I have people who just go and do overtime. They go and do 1, 2 overtime, they pay their policy, they are done for that month. The next month, they go and do 1, 2, they are done for that month. So it really depends on how you get information from the person, and is the information you get from the client or the prospect, that's what will help you, the financial professional, help the person better. Sometimes people have money loaded somewhere. They don't see themselves going to take it for insurance. But guess what? You are missing a lot, missing out. Yeah, so.
You've taught us a lot today. It's been 1.5 hours, so we're going to wrap up. But my last question for you, I think somebody else might want to know, is can an insured change a term life insurance policy to a whole life? Let's say I start with a term life insurance policy. I'm like, okay, now I've learned more and I want to have it be a whole life. Can I do that?
Yes, so I'll quickly use one of the screens because there's a technical word I want to use there. So just give me 1 second. There's a technical word. The simple answer is yes.
Okay.
Yes, the simple answer is yes. So like I said, I'm quickly sharing my screen. Just give me 1 second. I'll share it and come back to it. So if you look at this table, we have different types of life insurance. Right at the bottom, you see what we call 1035 exchange.
Right.
So that 1035 exchange, if the policy grows money, you see the first one, term life doesn't have 1035 exchange. Because if there's money growing in the policy, you can take the money and you move it to the next policy. It depends on where the company, the carrier is. So if you are moving it in the same company, you want to cancel an old policy in the same company and move it to the same company, it becomes an internal 1035. That's a little bit more technical. If you are moving it from one company to another, because you can do that, that's an external 1035. So yes, you can move a policy. You see, you can move it from term life to whole life to any of these. You can move it from whole life to index investor, any of them. It depends on what the client wants and how you know, what you told the client and the client sees. It's a kind of a two-way discussion. You don't impose. We don't go and impose on a client. We assess the client's situation and we give them options. And the client says, okay, I want to move this policy from year to year. Is it possible? What are the good? What are the bad? You give them all of those information. Then they go sleep over it. Then they take a decision, or they take a decision right there. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much. Remember, I did ask you to bring an African proverb to share on the show today. While you think about that, let me read this last comment from Pastor Sarah on Facebook. He says, thank you. It is the mindset. We don't take it seriously. The Hmong community are serious about it. The Polish community are serious about it. Why can't we Africans be serious about it? Thank you very much, Mabel, for this. As a former agent, oh wow, I wish this guy can come every now and then to educate our people. See, you've done a great job. Thank you
Who is
so
that
much.
former agent? I want to see.
No, the viewer is a former agent. Yeah.
Yeah, let him find a way. Let's talk. Former agent is, yeah. Thank you so much. I just did my best. I hope and happy that people got one or two information and they learned something. Yeah.
So, what's your African proverb?
Yeah. I try to find an African proverb which centers around what we are saying. So you say in Pidgin, right?
Any language, but just try to explain
Oh,
what it means.
anyway, well. It was in English. I thought I have to say it in Pidgin, but I'll try to also translate it. So it's simple. So I said tomorrow now for people they prepare today.
Mm.
Tomorrow is better off when you prepare today. So sometimes they say the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. The next best time is now. So don't say, oh, I did not know about it. Okay, you have the possibility to do it now. So go ahead and see whether you qualify for the service, and that's it. And
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming to talk to me, Africa, for educating us about life insurance. Thank you to all those who joined on Zoom, to all those on Facebook for all your questions and your comments. Thank you. I think, my desire about this platform is to impact the lives of Africans in the diaspora and also in Africa, and to share beautiful thoughts like our African proverbs. Thank you again, and have a wonderful Sunday.
you're welcome. Thank you too. Thank you, Ravini. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.